Thank you very much. I want to say good morning from Portugal to everyone here present.
Yeah.
It's a pity that I can't be there presentially, but I'm very glad to be here nonetheless. Um, my topic, as it was meant, as I understand, we can't share the screen, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So I'll try to explain. I brought some graphics, but I will try to explain it the best I can.
Mhm.
So my topic, as it was mentioned, is China's perspectives on Central Asia, analyzing the evolution of bilateral relations through political discourse. I would like to start by making a brief contextualization of these relations. As we know, they have evolved significantly since the collapse of the Soviet Union, since China has shifted from just a peripheral observer to a key regional actor, reflecting then a combination of political, economic, and security imperatives in their foreign policy, which have been articulated through a variety of political discourse, as we will see um, up ahead. At a geographic level, China and Central Asia, as we know, are considered neighbors. For the nations of Central Asia, China is an outlet to the sea, while the countries of Central Asia can help China establish inland communications to Europe and West Asia. In terms of politics, they have long-standing ties. Currently, China and Central Asia hold similar views on many national and international problems, as well as advantaged political relations that have been formed among these nations. At an economic level, they have complementary advantages that offer the possibility of an extensive cooperation. For example, for China, the energy resources, metals, leather goods, and other commodities, I'm sorry for my cat, as well as the raw materials and markets of Central Asia are very important. At the same time, China's industrial, consumer, and agricultural products and markets also hold a strong attraction for the countries of Central Asia. Finally, at the security level, it is important to mention that they also have common interests for the actions of ethnic separatists, religious extremists, and the threat of international crime, terrorism, and regional conflict are mutual concerns for both sides. As such, maintaining the stability of Central Asia and the western border areas of China benefits everyone in this partnership. Regarding their political basis of bilateral cooperation, China's fundamental policies towards Central Asia include peaceful and good neighborliness relations, as well as cooperation on the basis of mutual benefit and common prosperity, and respecting the choices of Central Asian people and not interfering in their internal affairs. Now, regarding regional connectivity, before the official launch of the Belt and Road Initiative in 2014, Chinese political discourse increasingly focused on infrastructure development and trade as a crucial link between China and Europe, with leader Hu Jintao, for example, and Premier Wen Jiabao frequently emphasizing the need for a win-win cooperation and a common development in the speeches that they made during the state visits to the region. With the formal introduction in 2014 by President Xi Jinping, China's political discourse on Central Asia entered then a new phase characterized by a more ambitious vision of economic integration, connectivity, and shared prosperity. Now passing to the discourses in itself, what we made in this work was we took the white papers that were published from 2012 to 2022, as well as the speeches that were published on the 4 volumes of the Governance of China, ranging also from 2012 to 2022. I had some graphics that I can't show you unfortunately, but I will try to explain the best I can. On the white papers, the major categories that we found were references to China's armed forces and the community of shared future, being the concept of a community of shared future the one with a higher percentage. As we saw, this concept appeared as a central tenet to China's foreign policy, advocating essentially to a global order based on shared interests, peace and prosperity. And in the context specifically of the Central Asia, this seems to indicate China's effort to build strong multilateral ties, where mutual cooperation is seen as a path toward regional regional development. As such, by emphasizing this category, China seeks to position itself as a key partner and leader in fostering regional stability and development, which also aligns with its geopolitical and economic interests in Central Asia. Regarding China's armed forces, although not a dominant narrative in these white papers, China's military presence and security cooperation in Central Asia are important. Discourse suggests China's intention to maintain regional stability through military ties, particularly under the framework of organizations like the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and it also highlights China's role in counterterrorism efforts as well as border security in the regions close to Central Asia, such as the case of Xinjiang. The military dimension of this category serves essentially as a complement to the economic initiatives, ensuring that China's investments and projects in the region remain secure. Regarding the speeches extracted from the governance of China, the main concepts were centered on the concept of mutual learning and the Belt and Road Initiative. On the concept of mutual learning, this emphasizes China's promotion of cultural and knowledge exchange between China and Central Asia. It is essentially a soft power strategy that is aimed at fostering goodwill and deepening relationships through educational, cultural, and scientific exchanges. As Central Asia, for example, is historically connected with China through the ancient Silk Road and is positioned as a region that can benefit from China's modern innovations while offering cultural and historical insights in return. This high value, which since it is the top category on this material, suggests that this is a priority for China and indicates that building cultural and intellectual ties is a key part of its Central Asia strategy. Regarding the Belt and Road Initiative, as we know, and as we mentioned before, Central Asia is a critical region in China's Belt and Road Initiative, which aims essentially at developing the infrastructure and enhanced trade roads on the region. Now passing to the continent itself, I just wanted to mention very brief to explain the results that we had before. As we can, for the governance of China, I would like to mention that from the totality of speeches that were present on all the volumes published, the speeches mentioning specifically Central Asia, sorry, were only 2.65%. This happens because these speeches tend to target domestic and international political audience and focus more on overall ideology of the party and of the country, national governance principles, and as well as China's global vision. Central Asia, while important, is only one part of China's broader geopolitical strategy. And in Xi Jinping's speeches, we saw that there might be more focus on China's domestic principles, priorities, global superpower status, as well as relationships with major powers like the United States, Russia, or the European Union. Making Central Asia be mentioned less in this context. The speeches collected also focus more on bigger and broader themes such as socialism with Chinese characteristics. And while sometimes touching on foreign policy, they intend to highlight China's vision and ideological leadership rather than focusing more on specific regions like Central Asia in detail. On the contrary, and passing now for the white papers, the totality from the totality of white papers published from 2012 to 2022, we saw that the percentage with references to Central Asia or countries of Central Asia was bigger, was 20.61%. And this happens because these are typically policy documents meant for a broader international diplomatic audience, including governments as well as international organizations and experts, and are used to detail China's strategic intentions as well as diplomatical policies, plans for specific regions, like the case of Central Asia. Given Central Asia's importance to the Belt and Road Initiative and its strategic geographic position, I will try to
1 minute.
To road it very much. These are then likely to emphasize the region more heavily to convey the detailed policies of the country. Now, to understand the alignment and the discrepancy between China's discourse and the expectations that Central Asia has in this bilateral relationship, I utilized the Hans Robert Yau's theory of horizons of expectation to analyze this discourse. And in alignment, as I saw that China's discourse is aligned with Central Asia's horizon of expectation on economic development, energy investment, security cooperation, and cultural diplomacy. Economic development, because it focused on China's discourse focused on infrastructure and trade to the Belt and Road Initiative, while Central Asia expects to have more economic growth and modern infrastructure. Energy investments, China's discourse focus on securing resources such as oil and gas pipelines, and Central Asia hopes to maximize energy exports and develop their industry. Security cooperation, China approaches anti-terrorism and border security, while Central Asia hopes to develop on counter-terrorism and regional stability. In cultural diplomacy, China's discourse focus on educational cultural exchanges through the Confucius Institute, for example, and Central Asia focus, while Central Asia has much of cultural sovereignty and suspicion of foreign influence, so the Confucius Institute is a way that they can do this influence while not seeming threatening. For the discrepancy and afterwards the conclusions, we saw discrepancies on sovereignty concerns, environmental concerns, and political influence. China's discourse promotes win-win cooperation and respect for sovereignty, while Central Asia has a fear of dependency and loss of control. In environment concern, China's discourse focuses on infrastructure without addressing ecological impacts in much of the cases, while Central Asia has environmental concerns, especially with water and air pollution. And in a political influence, China's discourse emphasizes on political stability and the promotion of the China model, while Central Asia values independence and is wary of an authoritarian influence. As such, for concluding, China's engagement with Central Asia through the terms of security, sovereignty, and multilateralism reflects a broader goal of establishing regional dominance while minimizing Western influence. Central Asia is critical to China's strategy of maintaining influence over its periphery and counterbalancing both US and European interests in the region. By promoting a cultural diplomacy and civilizational exchange, China seeks to cultivate long-term goodwill and partnership with the countries in Central Asia, reflecting China's also broader objectives of shaping a positive image as a benevolent power and an alternative to Western models of development and governance. Now,
Okay.
how do these themes reflect China's broader just
Patricia,
2 points, just to finish. It's just
yeah,
the
you have
last.
30 seconds.
Yes, I can do this. China hopes through these points in geological and economic objectives to secure energy resources, expanding trade through the Belt and Road, and fostering regional security to stabilize also China's western borders and promoting multilateralism, and as well as insulate herself from extremism and separatist movements that could then threaten domestic stability. And that is all. This is a work in progress also, and I'm very thankful, and I hope that it was on time.
Yes, thank you.